Shalom, everybody. This is Poirier Breen, and I'm the editor-in-chief of artisticministry.net, and I just wanted to do this brief video. Basically, as you can tell by the title, it's around MMA, and let's see, I know that's like coming out of left field, and that's fun. And I like that. Why? Because I don't know about you, but in terms of that second episode, to arm yourselves with knowledge, something that I have over the years that I've learned to do is something that I learned on my, I did missionary service for a while. We're going back about 20 to 30 years, but I did missionary service, and it was a situation where you had to go where they sent you. You really didn't get a choice in the matter. You were partnered up with someone who you never knew before. And maybe there was a personality clash. Could have been someone from a different race, someone who maybe didn't even speak English, and you were partnered with this person 24/7 for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, who knows. And sometimes it was in an area where maybe you didn't want to be in. Maybe you were used to city life, and now all of a sudden you're in a rural situation and you're riding a bicycle. Or maybe you're having to walk. Maybe you're learning how to drive on the left-hand side of the road. I mean, it was a situation that was very stressful at times, that was very intimidating, and a lot of times feeling alone, depending on who my companion was, my missionary companion was. I could be with someone who didn't speak English. And a saying that I learned, that I took to heart, which I've shared before and I'm going to share it again, and that is, you may not be able to change your circumstance, but you can change your attitude. You may not be able to change your situation, but you can change your perspective. And there it is. It was a situation where I had to literally put that to the test. And I think that we as TIs, we are in a unique position where that saying can be applied to our lives. We are dealing with something that is beyond our control. We are dealing with something that we have, for many of us, we don't even know why it's happening. And that right there is a very vulnerable, scary situation to be in, especially because a lot of this is mental warfare, but a lot of it is very physical warfare, in the sense of just the being followed, the color coding, literally stalking, entering into our homes. I mean, it can be very threatening and very scary. And what's unique is that we can find weapons. The Most High can give us weapons. He can help us, and one of the best weapons that we have is our mind. And with our mind is where we change the attitude, where we can change our perspective. And the Apostle Paul has told us definitely, he made it clear in Ephesians chapter 6, we are not wrestling with flesh and blood. This is a spiritual warfare. It's manifesting on the physical plane, but this is spiritual, and it's also manifesting mentally. And so, looking at loneliness, that's one of the tactics that they use. And for many of us, we know that we are social creatures at the core, and we need that connection. We need to have that camaraderie. We need to know that we can talk to someone. We need the support. We need to be able to give support to someone else. And when that's taken away from us, especially in a way that is shaming, in a way that is degrading, where we are feeling rejected, where we are being lied on, when we're being defamed, and we are being shunned, not because of our own choice, not because of something that we did, but because of something that has been implied, because we've been set up. That makes it even worse. That makes it even harder to deal with. And our perpetrators, they know this. They know that it's hard to be, for many people, it's hard to be in a room and be alone. It's hard to be in a crowd and be alone, but we find ourselves in that situation. And I say that from my perspective, this is an opportunity to take advantage of that saying, to put it to use. Again, like I said in that episode, we can one of the ways that we can change the perspective is to change the word. Instead of calling it isolation, call it solitude. Depending on where you're at, solitude speaks of choice. Solitude speaks of being alone by choice. Solitude speaks of peace. Solitude speaks of refuge. And that's really what this is, what we can turn it into if we choose to. And for many of us, being alone can be hard. Depending on what's going on for us on a mental, emotional level, being alone can be scary. Being alone is when, for many of us, sometimes the walls start to close in. Maybe we have personal issues, mental health issues, where being alone, sometimes the voices come up. Sometimes those feelings that we generally keep at bay through being busy, being social, being in the bars, going to the parties, going to the dinners and the barbecues, that can keep that at bay. But now all of a sudden that's being removed from us, and we have no choice but to face those demons. And again, our perspective, our attitude, how do we choose to deal with that? And we know that for those of us who are Messianic TIs, the Most High has made a promise to us, and we can put that to use. And I'm going to share it with you if you're not aware of it. It's in Isaiah. The Most High, He said to us to remind Him of His word. He made a promise to us. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. And I did a little word study, because I know that a lot of times the words in the scriptures, they have a symbolic meaning along with just the literal meaning. And for waters, I looked that up. It's the Hebrew word 4325, mayim. And 6a says that waters symbolizes danger or distress. So the Most High is making a promise. When thou passest through danger, when thou passest through distress, I will be with thee. So that feeling of fear, of worry, that anxiety that comes up when we're alone, He's saying, I will be with thee. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to worry or wonder. Call on me. I'm there. That's one of the promises that He's made. And again, that helps change it. And we can use this as an opportunity to learn more about ourselves, which brings us back around to MMA. Like I said, I have, since I was young, just a warrior spirit, and I enjoyed it. And when I was doing early childhood recovery, something that helped me because of some of the memories of just the abuse and such that I suffered, that feeling of being vulnerable, that feeling of being frightened, came up, and my therapist, encouraged me to take a martial art. And so I got to take a little bit. I never really excelled at it or got to compete or anything like that, but just enough to give me just a sense of confidence in myself. And I like to say, I did better studying the art of run fu run, because hey, I can run pretty good, and that made more sense. But I enjoyed martial arts. I enjoyed mixed martial arts, watching it. And I know it's weird, but it's something that, again, finding out who I am, what it is that interests me, and I don't have to justify it or give an excuse. I like it. 50-something-year-old black Hebrew female loves mixed martial arts. There it is. And I like Dustin Poirier, and I like it that he is referred to as being a mixed martial artist, a Thug-Jitzu. And what does that mean? I have no idea. But I started a YouTube channel, and at first I called it Thug-Jitzu, but then I thought, that kind of gives off a different message, because I'm not a thug. Okay, I would not make a good thug. I couldn't be a thug. So I changed it to Art Jitsu, and then it slowly turned around to Artistic Jitsu and Artistic Jiu-Jitsu, and so that's the title, and so that's my channel, and it only has a few videos in it. And I want to, at the end of this video here, I've got a clip for and I want you to check it out, tell me what you think about it, and just if you like it, I'm going to put a link to the second video at the in the description box, or just head over to its Artistic Jiu-Jitsu, and that's the new channel, and it's just going to be my channel for MMA and just art. And it's fun, and it's something that I can do. Again, being alone, is it isolation where I'm sitting here, feeling vulnerable and miserable, or is it solitude? Me by myself, learning more about myself, doing things that I enjoy doing, that's positive, that's constructive, that can also be used in some way to inspire or encourage another TI, or even an opportunity to spread the good news. And so there's that verse. Please read it, Isaiah 43, starting at verse 2. And again, just when that fear comes up, we don't have to give in to that. We don't have to feel ashamed that we are dealing with isolation, that we have been lied on and defamed and set up in such a way that a family will not have anything to do with us. And they're not willing to listen to us when we try to explain what's going on. And especially when we don't really have the words or the vocabulary to even explain what it is that we're dealing with. But we have an opportunity to turn this around into something that is positive. And I'm going to do more on, excuse me, I'm going to do more on solitude versus isolation, because it's a big one. And I think that I know that I'm guilty of this on many occasions. I have, in that place of not wanting to be alone, I've put myself in situations where it was not safe for me, where I was with people who were abusive towards me, who did not have respect for me, and the only reason I was there was because I didn't want to be alone. I had too many issues around rejection. I had too many issues around shame, and this came as a result of the background that I come from. And now I'm in a much stronger place, and I think the Most High literally used those situations, those people, as a way to help form and mold me and turn me into a stronger person. And that puts me in a place of gratitude. And I never thought that I would be able to say that, or ever have a reason to say that, to be grateful for what some of these different gang stalkers and witch stalkers have done. But if they had not been that vicious towards me, putting me in situations where I didn't feel safe and comfortable, forcing me to choose, well, I'd rather be alone than to be with you. I'd rather be by myself than have to deal with this and that and the other thing. But as a result of that, I ended up learning more about myself, learning how to be separate, learning how to be in the world but not of the world. And that's where I know that the Most High used the wicked to make that happen. And so because of that, I can honestly say that I'm grateful that it did happen. And I know that that can also work for you too. It might not seem like it now, but it can. And so think about that. What are situations that you have been in that in the past you were not able to handle, but now you can, as a result of surviving some of the situations that these gang stalkers have put you in, where you now have strength. You didn't have it before, but now you do. And it was a result of being a victim of the gang stalking. Okay, be sure and to stay tuned. Don't turn this off. Check out this video. It's for my new channel. It was called Thug-Jitzu, but I'm not a thug, so it's called Artistic Jiu-Jitsu. And if you enjoy it, please check out the link and check out for part 2. Okay, shalom, everybody.